Dear students, today we are going to focus a topic which is given from your syllabus, and I am going to take it from your given syllabus for which is prescribed for the JPSC mains examination. But this topic has been taken from the medieval history, and the topic is Bhakti movement. From there I am going to bring a question, and I will try to explain it how to draft answer in a very diplomatic way. So please try to pay attention on this question and my explanation also. So let's see. There is a question that the Bhakti movement, the question has been taken from the Bhakti movement. And the question is, the Bhakti movement received a remarkable reorientation with the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Discuss. This is a question. So obviously this question is specifically taken from the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is, again I am repeating this question, the Bhakti movement received a remarkable reorientation with the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Discuss. So before knowing that how to draft answer, it is necessary to, there are some sort of discipline is required. That is, approach is required to frame the answer of this question. How to do? The very first begin with a brief overview of a Bhakti movement and the role of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in transforming it, especially in Eastern India. So this should be your intro. Later that, from the body point of view, which you have going to frame answer in the form of answer, in body segments you have to discuss the introduction of Sankirtan, Kirtan and Sankirtan, and its impact on promotion, spiritually unity and fellowship. Later that you have to explain how the Chaitanya's teaching broke down caste, gender and social barriers. This should be your main topic, main version of your topic. Later that you have to describe the amalgamation of the various Bhakti movement traditions and the reconciliation of dualistic and non-dualistic perspective through the Achintya, Veda and Advaita. After that you are allowed to frame the answers of this question, so that you can your answer can get a very concrete frame. You can frame it in a very concrete pattern way. So let's see how I have drafted this question, the answer of this question. Let's see. The answer is that the Bhakti movement is an important landmark in the cultural history of the medieval India. You are going to start your explanation like this. The Bhakti movement is an important landmark in the cultural history of the medieval India, which was brought about by the galaxy of socio-religious reformers. Remember, this is a very good word, very standard word over there. The galaxy of socio-religious reformer. Later you write, the Bhakti symbolize the complete surrender of one's self to God. One's self to God. That is the main motto of the Bhakti movement. Later you write the main feature, the second paragraph. What you are going to write? You are going to write the main feature. The main feature of the Bhakti movement, where the unity of God or one God. Listen, that is a very important line here, over here. The unity of God or one God, though known by the different names. That is, this is the main motto of the Bhakti movement. The main feature of this movement were unity of God or one God, though known in a very different names. Intense love and devotion, the only way of salvation. This is the main motto of Bhakti movement. What is it? The intense love and the devotion, the only way of salvation. And the repetition of the true name and self-surrender. This is the main motto of Bhakti movement. You have to write this type of words in examination in an intro discipline. This movement was responsible for many rites and rituals. You write over there, this ritual, that is this movement, was responsible for many rites and rituals. You write over that, many rites and rituals associated with the worship of God by Hindus, Muslim and Sikh of Indian subcontinent. So what we are going to tell you? We are going to tell you about the main point regarding the Bhakti movement. That is, it is responsible for many rites and rituals associated with the worship of God by Hindus, Muslim, Sikhs of Indian subcontinent. For example, Kirtan at the Hindu temple, Qawwali at the Dargah and singing Gurbani at the Gurudwara are all derived from the Bhakti movement of medieval India. So in medieval India, there were many type of sects were existed that time, in which we have plotted their names as per, so that your explanation can get a very disciplined and a decorated pattern. In the second paragraph, what you write? You write about the movement had profound influence on the socio-cultural milieu of the Indian subcontinent. That we are talking about the Bhakti movement. What you write? The movement had profound influence on the socio-cultural milieu of the Indian subcontinent. The social base of the Bhakti movement, Bhakti saint, ranged from the low caste such as the Kabir to the high caste such as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here you are going to introduce Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, this is the phase of your introduction. Listen carefully. Such as the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here it is, his life span was 1486 to 1533. In the Eastern Bhakti poet worshipped the cult of Radha Krishna. So what was the identity and the intro of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He was the Eastern Bhakti movement, and he worshipped the cult of Radha Krishna. Okay, so after that, some sort of important point is required to discipline, to frame here. So Chaitanya was influenced by, you write here, the Chaitanya was influenced by the doctrine of Nimbakara, Vishnu Swami and the poetry of Jayadeva. The influencer which influenced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the doctrine of the Nimbakara, Vishnu Swami and the poetry of Jayadeva and the Vidyapala. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he believed in the philosophy of Shravan and the Kirtana as the highest form of devotion. But here it is written, listen carefully about what we are talking about. We are talking about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He believed that the philosophy of Shravan and Kirtana as the highest form of devotion to Lord. Later you write the influence of Chaitanya movement on the other Bhakti movement is immense, as he introduced some new elements into the Bhakti movement and reorients the Bhakti movement cult in the North India. It was the area where the Bhakti movement flourished. So you have to write the areas where the Bhakti movement came into full-fledged. Later you write some of the aspects which were introduced through the Chaitanya movement in the Bhakti movement at larger scales are given below. So this is the important points which we are going to depict now. Some of the aspects which were introduced through the Chaitanya movement in the Bhakti movement at the larger scales are given below. So here you have to frame some names, that is what were the areas. Okay, so you have to write here what you are writing now. The first one you are writing here, the systematic propagation of Bhakti theology. What you are writing here? The systematic what I have told, the systematic propagation of theology, that is the Bhakti theology. Bhakti theology. These will be the points where your expression will get a new dimension. The second point, wider social base. These will be the points. Again I am repeating, where you can frame your answer in a very beautified manner. Okay, first one, the systematic propagation of Bhakti theology. Second one, the wider social base. And the third one, propagating Bhakti within existing social. What you are writing now? Propagating Bhakti within existing social structure. Okay, I have mentioned 3 points. There will be the 5 points where this total explanation will summarized. The fourth point is chanting the best means of realized God. Chanting is, you know, chanting is the best means of realize God. And the fifth point, again one more point, voice of appraised. This is also necessary here. Voice of appraised. Fifth point you can write here, voice of appraised. That means what we have mentioned, these were the causes by which the Bhakti movement during the lifespan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers were flourished. These were the points. The systematic propagation of Bhakti theology, wider social base, propagating Bhakti within the existing social structure. Fourth one, the chanting the best means of realized God. And the fifth one is voice of appraised. So now we are going to define one by one so that you can comprehend well. Let us see. So first one is the systematic propagation of Bhakti theology. What is it? So on the request of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what I am writing now, on the request of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his selected 6 disciples called the Goswamis started systematically present the theology of the Bhakti. This was the revolutionary within the Bhakti movement, as it was the known for one wider scale, and it was known for the wider scale. Then the propagation of Bhakti ideas far and wide became instrumental in spreading the message of Chaitanya movement across the north parts of India and had the ripple effect on the other sect also. So this was the main point by which Bhakti movement get its new dimension. Later you write wider social base. The wider social base. Unlike the most of the Bhakti saints, Chaitanya associates ranges from, what you write here? Unlike the most of the Bhakti saints, Chaitanya associates range from the higher caste to lower caste, and his associations with the acharyas made him doctrine acceptable to the wider population, and later his teaching were spread by the higher to and lower caste people alike. This is the main points about the Bhakti movement, specifically about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is his theology. And later his teachings were spread to the higher and lower caste people alike. At last, you write, the cult of teachings, doctrines introduced by the Chaitanya is Gaudiya, Vaishnavism. Remember, the cult of, you are necessary to use this word, the cult of teaching doctrines introduced by the Chaitanya is the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and was later popularized by the many followers who were teaching in their own right. So he created at the beginning, and later it was followed by his followers. The third point you are writing now, propagating Bhakti within the existing social structure. So Chaitanya propagated his teaching without relinquishing the caste identity. This is a main point, one of the main point also. The Chaitanya propagated his teaching without relinquishing the caste identity, but he accepted the lower caste people as the devotees. Remember, It was his greatness. The lower caste people honest devotees. This was the unique as the most of the bhakti saint relinquish existing hierarchies and the rigidities. Some sort of liberty, some sort of flexible, some sort of what we are going to say, some sort of flexible, you may say, feelings and the ideology has introduced during the time of bhakti movement, specifically the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yet a Chaitanya cult became the popular among the people, including some Muslim followers. It was because of the emphasis on the purity of thoughts and action which Chaitanya has emphasized on the teaching and thoughts. So this is a unique identity, unique effort of during the time of Chaitanya. Later you write the chanting the best means to realize word. So as per the demand of this question, I am explaining its answer. Since the inception of Chaitanya movement, a favorite and the characteristics form of the worship was group singing known as the Kirtan or Sankirtan. It consists of singing of a symbol hymns and the repetition of Krishna name accompanied by the sounding of a drum and cymbals. And it became the important rituals in the temples of North India. So in North India, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spirit and this ideology flourished very extensive discipline. So this the concept was that the chanting of the name of God brings the devotee closer to him. This was the main concept. The chanting the name of the God brings the devotee closer to him. So this concept was to some extent similar to that of the Sama, a Sufi tradition. So there is a similarity between Sufi tradition also. So this concept was the some extent similar to that of Sama, a Sufi tradition of exalting and chanting the name of God to feel his presence. So he followed the same type of spirit. Thus it is no wonder that the Kirtan and Sama attracted the bhakti devotee of Hindus and Muslims towards each other traditions and form the basis of composite culture. So these are the points you have to mention also, so that you can frame your answer as per the demand of this question. Later you write the voice of oppressed. How does this movement was declared as one of the main cause of the voice of oppressed? So Chaitanya belonging to higher caste became the voice of the oppressed, lower trodden. He confronted even his own high caste followers in order to bridge the gap between the low and high. So it was the revolutionary step by the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He confronted even his own high caste followers in order to bridge the gap between the low and high. And he became the bridge to reduce the social tension in the Eastern India, and his finally venerated disciples. His finally venerated disciples included the Rupa, Santana and Jiva, all of whom were marginalized, either untouchables or stigmatized in society. In the second last paragraph, what you write? You write over the Chaitanya movement was successfully in reorienting. The Chaitanya movement was successful in reorienting in the Bhakti movement by creating a missionary to spread the Bhakti ideas, reducing the social tension by emphasizing on peaceful coexistence and emphasizing Sankirtana also, and chanting name of God, a means of come closer to God. So main theme of this the theology and the theology behind these ideas, or to come closer to God, was only to chanting name of God as the means come closer to near the God. So later the last paragraph maybe you write there, the movement has a subtle influence on the nationalist leader of Bengal. So here you are going to make a new impact, that how this movement affected the later ideology and later thoughts also. So the movement has a subtle influence on the nationalist leaders of Bengal such as the Vivekananda, Arvindo Ghosh and many others. And the cultural and social life of Bengal, in particularly in northeast India in general, resonated many of the ideas influence of Chaitanya movement, who is even venerated as the incarnation of Krishna and being worshipped in many parts of the region. So up to this point you have developed, you have framed a body of this question which was very important. After that you are going to describe a very effective conclusion. So what is its conclusion is quite related to the theme behind this Chaitanya, about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu movement. You write over there as a conclusion, the advent of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu significantly impacted the Bhakti movement, emphasizing communal devotion, inclusiveness and the meaning of various Bhakti tradition and nurturing the devotional literature. His teaching, what you have to write again, his teaching and practices continues to influence and unite millions of followers in their pursuit of spiritual and this devotion. After writing this type of information, you can frame your answer as per the demand of this question, and this will be very you may say a very concrete and a very thorough information as per the need of this question. So this day I tried my best to bring a question and try to explain its answer also, which for this examination point of view. I hope that you will appreciate my initiative and you have recognized, and if you have comprehended well this my lecture, I hope that very soon in this type of topics which you have mentioned in your syllabus, I will try to bring a new question and its explanation for you, so that you can frame your answer in a very decorated discipline in your examination hall. So again I am giving you that a new message, that keep practicing, keep writing again, so that your examination, you can get through this examination with the very handsome marks. Thank you.